This video is brought to you by ncix.com. Great technology, selection, and service.
The Google Nexus 6P has been sparking the internet since the launch as the best Android smartphone to buy. Nearly every aspect of this device has been designed with the user in mind. This is the flagship of the Nexus line, so here's everything you need to know about the 6P. Let's start with the price. It costs $500 for the 32GB base model, $549 and $649 for the 64 and 128GB variants respectively. There are 3 different color choices you can pick from, starting with aluminum, graphite, and frost. It comes unlocked directly from the Google Play Store, so if you're switching between carriers often, rejoice. Google decided to partner up with Huawei this time, a Chinese company that has been getting some attention lately with some of their flagship phones like the Mate S. The 6P, on the other hand, is a completely different design from its predecessor, the Motorola Nexus 6. I say this because I was very surprised with the build quality of the 6P out of the box. The whole body is crafted in anodized aluminum, but be careful with handling because the hefty weight of about 180 grams and the smooth aluminum equates to a slippery body. Google has also launched a new warranty program called the Nexus Protect. Pricing is at $70 for the Nexus 5X and $90 for the 6P. It adds an extra year protection for manufacturing defect and 2 years of protection for product damage like drops, spills, and cracked screens, which might be a good idea to future-proof any unforeseen issues. Let's talk specs. We have a Snapdragon 810 processor, 3GB of RAM, 64GB of internal storage in this model, 12.3MP rear-facing camera with an f2.0 aperture, dual front-facing speakers, a massive 3450mAh battery, and last but not least, a beautiful crystal-sharp 5.7-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 2560 by 1440. Speaking of the display, it's amazing. To be honest, this is my first time using an AMOLED panel, and I noticed a huge difference between it and the IPS LCD screen on the Moto G. You can see yourself how much screen real estate you get switching to a phone of this size. Texts are sharp, viewing angles are top-notch with deep blacks, and the colors seem to pop out really well. I had no issues with viewing the screen in daylight with brightness set to about 70%. And if you're like me and consume a lot of video content through your smartphone, you are in for a treat with the Nexus 6P, especially with the dual front-facing speakers that are loud enough with great projection. The 12.3MP shooter sits behind a glass panel that adds a unique form to the body, but may be first to crack if dropped. Pictures coming out of the 6P are, as expected, really good. The dynamic range is excellent with just the right amount of sharpness. I mostly took these with HDR plus mode turned on, and I never ended turning it off since the pictures look really good. Albeit it does take a few seconds to process, but the end result is worth a shot. Low-light performance is excellent with HDR on, and this helps clean the noise. The sensor does have the ability to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second and 240 frames per second in 720p, but it doesn't come with built-in optical image stabilization, yet it heavily relies on software. Here are a few samples. I am a huge fan of stock Android, and the 6P delivers exactly that. It's clean and works just as it should without any carrier bloatware. It runs Android 6.0 Marshmallow, and since this is a Nexus device, it will be the first device to receive software updates directly from Google. Performance is very satisfying. The Snapdragon 810 paired with 3GB of RAM goes along really well with Android Marshmallow. Opening up apps are fast, the on-screen keyboard responsiveness is fast. I can run 20 different apps at the same time without experiencing any hiccups. One of the most unique features built inside Android 6.0 is the new battery saving feature called Doze. Essentially, it sets certain sensors to sleep when the device is idle, and that significantly helps with the standby time of the 6P. You can leave the phone unplugged throughout the night and wake up in the morning with just a few percent dropped, and combined with a massive 3450mAh battery, one full day of heavy use is a piece of cake. And even if the phone is about to die, you can charge it for 10 minutes. That'll give you an extra 6 to 7 hours of use thanks to the new USB Type-C connector that supports quick charge. I think Google bit the bullet a little early going with USB Type-C connector on the 6P. Not every local store would carry a spare Type-C cable if you end up misplacing it, and the chances of borrowing it from a friend is very low. Plus, the lack of wireless charging is a bummer if that were to be your backup plan. It's also hard to find accessories that are compatible with USB-C. Chances are you may end up buying adapters to make them compatible, but on a positive note, it's future-proof, reversible, and supports fast data transfers. I guess we will have to wait and see how time catches up with the standard. Covering the essentials, call quality has been very reliable. I had no complaints from people hearing me on the other side. The speakerphone is loud if you decide to use it thanks to the dual front-facing speakers. The fingerprint sensor on the back is a nice addition, and Google calls it the Nexus imprint. It's basically the fastest and most reliable way to log onto your device, and with Android Pay right around the corner, this is the best way to secure payments. And that's basically the story behind the Nexus 6P. I think that it would be an excellent buy considering the solid build, beautiful screen, excellent camera, top of the line specs, a fingerprint reader, awesome battery life, and my favorite part, clean Android. It's certainly a damn good smartphone to get. Thank you for watching this video, guys. What are your thoughts on the Nexus 6P? Would you consider this a solid upgrade? Let us know with a comment down below. I'm Eber with Hardware Canucks. Don't forget to subscribe for more similar content, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, and please don't try bending this phone. Gosh, people.